Hey guys, I'm going live right now on YouTube. My YouTube handle is High Vibration Health. Come and say hi. Come and ask some questions. Today, I'm specifically talking about my experience with the vegetarian diet, providing some insights about the science behind it. Thanks. YouTube, my YouTube handle, High Vibration Health. Come say hi. Come and ask some questions. Today, I'm specifically talking about my experience with the vegetarian diet, providing some insights about the science behind it. Thanks. Guys, I'm going. All right, guys. Sorry, let me pull up Facebook real quick because I want to go live there as well. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, awesome. Okay, we are live on Facebook. Sorry for the delay, guys. I just wanted to get it going on all the platforms before I started. Now let me just post it on Instagram really quick, and we are good to go. Okay, here we are. Awesome. All right, here we go. We are live. Hey everyone. Today I want to talk about a little bit of my experience with the vegetarian diet and just provide some insights in a more personal manner than a typical like science-based approach to diet or anything like that. So right off the bat, I have my experience actually in diet and training and fitness in general started with the vegetarian diet. I was vegetarian for the first 17, 18 years of my life, and during which time I went through a bit of personal changes, and I decided to step away from the vegetarian diet in that time. And I did things a little bit differently and just opened my perspective. And essentially, what it came down to was that if I was going to be an authority or be respected in the health and fitness space, then I felt like I needed to have an open mind to all the diets out there, not just the vegetarian diet, although that provided me a great, I think, base level to start at for approaching my fitness and health. I think that along the journey that we must open our minds more, and it was a scary time for me because it was moving away from something that I'd been familiar with for quite some time. So it was a little scary in that regard, but it ended up working out, and I have a lot new perspectives now because of it. So a couple of the things that occurred to me during this time, or the main problem that I kind of ran up against, was that during this period, I had been vegetarian continually for 18 years. And during around my 16th birthday, I started gaining weight at a very rapid rate, and it was pretty unhealthy. I was just putting on weight in a rate that should not be put on, and my health really deteriorated. So after about a year of, being 200 plus pounds, or at least getting close to it, I decided to make a change and I wanted to cut down again. And when I started again from the vegetarian diet. But from that point on, I felt like my health had started taking a hit, not because the vegetarian diet is inherently bad, hoping it would work out kind of way, instead of really understanding the principles behind the foods that I was eating and the nutrition that I was giving my body. Essentially, the problem was that I was eating tons and tons of soy foods, synthetic proteins, and cheap alternative foods that would allow me to hit my protein numbers for the day, but wouldn't allow me to get high quality ingredients, to get good sources of fat, to get other micronutrients, or to include other wholesome foods in my diet. I really built my entire diet around these protein foods. And that kind of brings me to the next problem on the vegetarian diet, and that it is quite difficult to hit your protein numbers, particularly when you're cutting. Particularly when you're cutting. I will tell you, going back to my own experience again, actually the majority of muscle that I've built up into this point in my training career and my fitness career had been on the vegetarian diet, and I had seen great results on it. So I was a little bit I didn't want to believe that the vegetarian diet could work for cutting. But really what it comes down to is typically what you have with vegetarian foods that are going to be high in protein are going to be that they're quite high in carbs, and more often than not, fats as well. So when you're bulking, this is not really a problem because we have an excess of calories to work with and an excess of carbs to work with. But when we're cutting, it can be the challenge is really to hit those protein numbers and cut down your carbohydrates and fats to a point where you're able to see results. And in my opinion, it is quite difficult or limiting to do this on the vegetarian diet. You most definitely can do it. You can see fat loss results. You can build muscle on the vegetarian diet. It just takes a little bit of a methodical approach. So if you guys have any questions or any stuff like that, I would really appreciate you asking it. Hey, what's up, man? I'm just answering some questions and giving my experience on the vegetarian diet right now. So feel free to comment or ask any questions. I'm just going to keep on going. And so essentially, I'm gonna speak a little bit candidly right now. We see a lot of companies like Beyond Meat and these soy-based companies coming out and gaining a lot of popularity lately, and I think that's great to offer people alternatives um, for hitting their protein needs if they want to stay vegetarian or whatever it may be. I think a problem in those products, however, that most people do not recognize is the completely trash fat profile in them. Many of them are loaded with canola oils, vegetable oils, and other synthetic oils that are not derived from plants that are high fat foods like coconuts, olive oil, avocado, things of that nature. And essentially, what happened to me when I was going through this period of weight loss and I wanted to cut down on the vegetarian diet, when I would try to include all these foods that as well had the high protein numbers, I would also be consuming a large amount of my fat, particularly bad fat from these vegetable oils. And essentially, the problem is that these vegetable oils or canola oil, sunflower oil, whatever you want to call them, essentially to manufacture them, they have to be heated and pressed and manufactured from that way. They cannot be, you could squeeze a handful of olives and you will get olive oil. You can squeeze an avocado and you will get avocado oil. But you squeeze a handful of vegetables, you're not going to get any oil. So what ends up happening is that these fatty profiles from these unnatural, frankly, fat sources end up poisoning our body and our health because our body doesn't know what to do with them. They're not typical sources of fat. So the big health problem that I ran into when I was eating all of these foods was a lot of hormonal issues, in the realm of energy, hormonal functioning with my testosterone, my energy levels, my sex drive, my mood, and everything down to my skin. It was not in a good place. And it was during this time where I kind of reevaluated the vegetarian diet and reevaluated its effect on my health. And I kind of opened myself up to eating more food. So now what I do is I really try to keep those concepts that I learned with the vegetarian diet close to my heart. I try to eat mostly wholesome foods and respect all the nutrition that comes my way from either plants or animals, whatever they may be. But I do allow for flexibility. So when I'm trying to cut and I'm trying to hit certain protein numbers for the day, then I may include some meat, I may include some eggs, I may include some dairy, whatever it may be. And really, what I want to drive home with this message in this video, and if anybody can learn anything from my experience, I think it is this, and it is that I believe that people. Hmm. Hmm. Sorry, a friend just asked me a question on Instagram, which is why I stay away from them because they are expensive. Yep, I completely agree. My friend was just speaking a little bit about moderation whenever it comes to any foods, including these soy-based foods, and that is exactly right. That's a great point to make. It is about what you're doing overall, what you're doing on a consistent basis. One day of eating meat is probably not going to give you cancer, as well as completely derail your health. At the same time, going vegan for a day is not going to make you healthy. So I think it is really important for people to get clear on what their goals are and what it really takes to get those goals. And I think oftentimes we look at these diets like the ketogenic diet, the paleo diet, the vegan diet, the vegetarian diet, and we try to blame something. We try to blame something for our problems and for our lack of results in our fitness space. So what that looks like is completely demonizing fat or sugar or carbohydrates or processed foods. While some of these may be contributing to our obesity problems in this country and health problems, they're not the only thing that we should be focusing on. And it's really human nature, right? We humans want simple solutions to our problems, and we want easy answers for why we're not getting what we want. And as much as we can shift the blame away from us, the better. So I think that is really all the points that I want to make in this video, guys. Please comment below or reach out to me if you have any questions regarding the vegetarian diet. I would love to give you more advice and insights upon it. Essentially, what I will tell you now is a kind of to tie the bow on this episode, and what I focus on now is that it's going to come down to your macros and your calories. So it doesn't matter if you're eating peas or you're eating beef. Either source of food and nutrition is going to contribute to your overall calories and macros for the end of the day. And as long as you're hitting those calorie and macro targets, you are going to be good to go as far as your goals are concerned. So thank you for coming on this live stream, guys, or watching the video afterwards. I really appreciate you. Please leave a like or comment, and I'll talk to you soon.